Continuing on with the Mesozoic in Western North America, we can see two orogens or orogenic belts specifically created during this time period. The first one is the Severe Orogeny, and this is east of the present-day Sierra Nevada mountains. During the Severe Orogeny, rock layers, which are called strata, were sheared off of the underlying Precambrian rocks along planes of weakness that often formed very low angle thrust faults or low angle convergent faults. And it created kind of like, it looked like overlapping roof tiles. So if you look at this image underneath the severe erosion, you can see those angles of faults underneath those mountains. And if you look up at that picture, you can see the mountains really do look like kind of like roof tiles stacked on top of each other. Right? So the thrust faults actually caused this part of the continent to shrink and be pushed together, kind of like a wrinkled piece of paper, shortening this area by over 100 kilometers. Right? So that material was shortened and pushed up into the mountains by these low angle thrust faults. Now, the severe erosion was not the only one happening. We also have the Larimide Orogeny. And this occurred during a series of pulses with quiescent phases intervening in between. So a pulse, quiescent phase, pulse, quiescent phase. The major feature created by this orogeny is really deep-seated, thin-skinned deformation, meaning rather than those overlapping angled tiles like we get in the severe erosion, instead we get almost vertical, very thin deformations for the Larimide Orogeny, which you can see in this image as well. Okay. So structures of today's Rocky Mountains result from the Larimide Orogeny. So the Rocky Mountains shown in the picture here, you can see are very, very tall, very pointy, and stick straight up rather than being angled like the severe erosion. Erosion has been acting upon these structures, so they're much, much smaller than they used to be. But that means they used to be huge, right? Because today they're still monstrous.